Good afternoon, dear teacher, dear community. While we wait for more friends to settle in, let us enjoy our breathing. We'll have a short guided meditation for all of us to practice. So please sit comfortably, um, relaxingly, and bring your mind back to your body by following your in-breath and out-breath. And you may choose to close your eyes or keep them open. And perhaps a light smile on your face to have relaxed your face muscles. We have some short exercises together. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath from the beginning to the end. Breathing out, I follow my out-breath from the beginning to the end. Following in-breath, following out-breath. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax my whole body. Aware of body, relaxing body. Breathing in, I smile to my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body. Smiling, calming. Let us enjoy 3 more sounds of the bell. Dear teacher, dear community, thank you for your practice and welcome all of you to Blue Cliff. Many of us have been here this weekend practicing together with the Blue Cliff community, and then also there are those of us who've just arrived for the activities today. I'd like to welcome all of you. It's Christmas Eve 2023. And we are in the Great Togetherness Meditation Hall at Blue Cliff. We've been practicing sitting meditation, walking meditation as a community. We've shared mindful meals and cups of tea together, all the while generating the energy of mindfulness, the energy of peace, to nourish ourselves and also hopefully radiate some of it out into the world. We're also here on this occasion of Christmas to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace and the light of the world. In his life of teaching, he taught many things, but central to his teachings are the virtues such as faith, kindness, forgiveness. And given the nourishing environment that his parents created for him, he was able to realize those virtues. He was able to cultivate them to the highest degree, and hence benefiting many, many generations of followers throughout many centuries. And so when we celebrate, when we commemorate the birth of Christ, we also reminding ourselves of those potentials, those seeds. And then as a baby is like a symbol of all the potentials that a human person can have. And so, reflecting on this, we might find that we're also carrying a baby Jesus within each one of us, because we too have those potentials. We too have those seeds of faith, seeds of kindness, and seed of forgiveness. It's similar to when we celebrate the birth of the Buddha. We also practice to recognize the potential in the baby Buddha, which as a human person, as a realized person, manifests those virtues. And we too have those virtues, such as wisdom and compassion, understanding and love. At this time, peace is so much needed. We all know this. There are places, many places in the world now where there's so little of it. There are many places where wars and conflicts are creating so much suffering and despair and death. At this moment also, in many places in the world, people are also commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ. But yet, in the Holy Land, where his birthplace is, there's no peace. There's very little peace. There's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. People are being killed. Families are being torn apart. There's so much suffering in this moment there. So we must be aware that we are very fortunate. We are very fortunate in this same moment to be sitting here and also at home, safe and warm with our family, with our friends, with our community, being able to practice cultivating mindfulness and cultivating peace. So let us not take this moment, take this experience, take this environment for granted. For those of us who are here at the monastery in the past weekend, and also those of you who are staying on till Monday and further, let us take advantage of the time that we're here to really immerse ourselves in the practice of cultivating mindfulness and make them into good habits, hopefully a resolution for the new year. And those of you who are watching online, you can also do the same at home. Be creative and look for ways to bring mindfulness practice into your daily activities. For those of us who are new, we might ask, what is then mindfulness? And I know many of you can answer this. Mindfulness is, in short, is the energy of awareness. And awareness of what? Awareness of what is going on in us, both physically and mentally. It's also the awareness of what is going on outside of us, meaning our environment, our immediate surrounding, and the people around it, and then beyond. Depends on our capacity of growing this energy of awareness. The more mindfulness we have, the clearer we see. And the clearer we see, the deeper our understanding. And understanding is the foundation for cultivating faith, kindness, and forgiveness. I'll write it on the board for you. Of course, as we know, understanding can give rise to many things and also a foundation of many, many things, many wonderful virtues. But for the scope of this talk, let's just focus on these three things: faith, kindness, and forgiveness. When we are able to understand deeply something or someone, it is easier for us to place trust in them, to have faith in them. When we are able to understand the difficulty of the other person, it is easier to manifest kindness towards them. When we're able to understand the suffering of the other person and hence the negative behaviors, the negative actions that person caused towards us, then it's easier to forgive them. When we're able to understand our own sufferings, then it's easier to be kind to ourselves. It's easier to trust ourselves. It's easier to forgive ourselves. So understanding can shine a light on that. Another word for that is insight. And when we practice mindfulness, we have a chance to grow insights, or in other words, we create the conditions for insight to manifest, for understanding to manifest. Some of you who are here for the first time, is there anybody here for the first time? A few of you? Sisters. Some monastic sisters raise their hands. They're really practicing ultimate dimension. Every time they come in the hall, it's a new experience. For those of you who are new here for the first time, you might have been caught by surprise that a Buddhist monastery had so many Christmas decorations. It's very festive looking, and it's great for this weather because it's kind of gloomy outside for this region. I remember last week or a couple of weeks ago, so we had this up for like almost a month. There was a mother of one of the monastic sisters came to visit us from Florida, and I remember her commented, she's like, wow, it looks like a church. And she said it more than a couple of times, and I kind of felt her dis-ease. Because traditionally, Buddhist temples and practice centers don't celebrate Christmas like this, all decked out. And so some of us share with our mothers that, yeah, we're living in the West, and this is a Christian country, so we want to partake in the celebration and to commemorate what people here commemorate, and also to make it at home, feel at home for friends who are coming, and also something that our monastic siblings from Vietnam can also learn and appreciate and enjoy a new experience. So many of these things are actually decorated by some of our young sisters who just came from Vietnam. I don't know where they learned to decorate, maybe from YouTube. But it's so nice to be in this festive mood. And then, well, understanding. Some of you might pose a question: what does it mean, understanding someone, understanding something? In the Buddhist tradition, when we talked about understanding, the basic definition would be, this is in my own understanding of understanding, is the understanding that we are all interconnected, that we are all in this together, that we are one, that we inter-are. So when we're able to establish this this realization, it's easier to empathize, it's easier to be kind, to forgive, and many other positive virtues. And maybe another question you might pose is, okay, so mindfulness gives rise to understanding, and understanding gives rise to faith, kindness, forgiveness. So how do I cultivate mindfulness? This whole place is about its cultivation of the energy of mindfulness. And there are many basic practices that we can apply to cultivate this kind of energy. And these basic methods are mindful walking and mindful breathing. And those of you who have been here have been exposed to this and has practiced this alongside us. Mindful breathing. Find a quiet place to sit. Relaxingly, keeping our back straight. Close our eyes. Bring our mind back to the present moment. Observing our in-breath and out-breath. We can try it together. So with one sound of the bell. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Thank you. So the idea is to maintain your awareness, maintain your mindfulness on the in-breath as it comes in, and on the out-breath as it goes out. And when we do this often and repeatedly, the energy of awareness increases in us. And if we do this on a regular basis, we can also apply them in our daily activities. We can bring this breath observing technique into our daily lives and off the cushion. So it's not just sitting on a cushion that you're able to cultivate this energy, but you can do that while you drive, while you do chores at home. We can choose an object or a sound in our environment to help remind us to come back, because we are of a nature to forget. So at the monastery, we have sounds such as the clock in the dining hall that chimes every 15 minutes. That helps us to come back to our breathing. And some of us had downloaded the Mindfulness Bell app that we can schedule it to ring every half hour or however the increments that you want. And that's another means to help us to come back to the present moment. Mindful walking, every time you make a step, make that a mindful step. It sounds easier than that we can do, but it's possible. That's why we call it practice. We keep doing them. Perhaps choose a path that you can practice on regularly. Maybe a path from the subway platform when you get off until the entrance at your workplace or your school. And make that commitment. So every time I walk that path, I will be mindful. I will be alert, I will be aware. Or even from your living room to your kitchen. Or if you're here, from your room to the meditation hall, practice mindful walking, being attentive to your steps. Bring the mind back to the step and not let the mind wander. So mindful walking is another practical ways to build this energy. So being mindful of your steps. When you're in the environment of, say, New York City, you can't afford to be slow. You have to be fast. But mindfulness is not about being slow. Mindfulness is about being aware. We're like to be slow here because we can, because we're committed to do so. And so we try our best to slow down everything. But out in your own environment, you might not be able to do so. And so you have to practice creatively. We can be mindful, but also mindful of our surrounding, as the definition share, which means when you cross the street, you're mindful of the cars coming. It's not about engrossing in yourself and forget your surrounding. It's about being aware of yourself and also the surrounding. And of course, this takes practice. And the more we practice, the easier, the more natural it becomes. That's a story I like to tell from time to time. Is there was one time when I was crossing the street here. This street here is actually a public street, so there are cars driving by. And of course, when we have the practice of stopping when we hear the sound of the bell to come back to our breath. And so one day there's a sister dear to my heart, and she stood outside the sister's activity bell under the maple tree to invite the bell for walking meditation or for lunch, I forgot which. And then I was starting to cross the road, and then she invited the bell. I did not know if she saw me or not. But at that time, I had two choices. I'm like, I'm gonna stick to the practice. I'm told when the bell's invited, I stop everything. Or I just continue to walk. What do you think I did? Thank you. You guessed right. So in that moment, I broke the rule. I continued to walk. And the reason I did is because there was a car coming. And I don't know if the driver in the car knew the practice or not, but I did not feel that he was slowing down. And so I can abide to the practice and get hit by a car, or I can save a lot of suffering, a lot of trouble just to break this rule. And I don't know if the sister saw me did that. I think if she did, she probably won't report me to higher authority. But I think that just goes to show that when we practice the teaching of the Buddha, we don't lose our sense of personhood. We don't lose common sense. The practice is actually very common sense. We have to apply it situationally. There are certain situations when we must do this, and when there are certain situations that we are not able to do it. And the choice is ours. There was also an opposite story. This is like an old story that we might have heard before. It's like two monks walking home to the monastery, and they're about to cross a stream. And the monks have many precepts, rules, and one of them is not to touch another person, not to touch a woman. And because they're monks, if they were nuns, then that would be like, do not touch a man. And so at that moment, the water was high, and there was a young woman who was not well, and she could not cross the stream by herself. And she asked for help. So one monk picked her up, brought her across the stream, and put her down. And walking, the other monk did not. The other monk walked and sort of disparaged this monk. Brother, you violated the precept. You touched a woman. So when he shared that, I'm sure he was thinking to himself that I am pure. I kept my precept. I kept the rule. And as they walked, when they reached the gate of the monastery, the second monk kept reminding his brother that his brother touched a woman. So the brother turned around and said, I put her back at the bank of the stream already. You brought her all the way here. What does that mean? His brother was caught in the precept, and so the whole time he was walking, he was not mindful, but he actually did keep the woman in his head, whereas his brother just helped and just got done with it, but he carried on. So he actually carried the woman the whole way, and not just across the stream. And so the teaching of the Buddha is like that. It's like a sword. And you have to be creative, you have to be intelligent, you have to know how to apply them in order to benefit yourselves and others, and not always be caught in words or form. Can we hear another sound of the bell? So when we practice these two methods, mindful walking, mindful breathing, among other methods that we learn here, we are able to cultivate this energy of awareness. And like I said, in turn, that gives rise to understanding. And then faith, kindness, forgiveness. And that's the foundation for peace to manifest, for love to manifest, for joy to manifest, for happiness to manifest. So those of us who have studied Buddhism and practice, you might have questioned, there's something missing here. Usually we hear mindfulness, concentration, insight. How come you don't write concentration here? I just want to simplify the version, because when we practice mindfulness, it is inherent that concentration is in there, because the energy of mindfulness naturally gives rise to the energy of concentration. So it's inferred. Mindfulness, understanding give rise to all of these, and these in turn give rise to these. And then we have the ability to do this. So while you're here on the monastery ground, these are some of the things that I would like to encourage you to do. Take time to slow down, to live deeply each moment so as to experience deep peace. Appreciate all the conditions that make our lives possible, conditions for our happiness and well-being. Utilize this space, the hall, outside of the scheduled activities, to do slow walking meditation, for example, on your own, or to lie down and practice deep relaxation, a body scan, to care for your body, or to sit and breathe. Some people can practice touching the earth or prostration to release tensions and worries. Or if you like nature, take a walk, take a mindful walk in the woods or on the grounds here. Or have a cup of tea with yourself, or with a friend, with a family member, or perhaps with a monastic sister or brother, and enjoy the moment together. And those of us who are at home, we can also practice bringing mindfulness into our daily lives. Find moments amidst all the festivities, amidst all your relatives and friends, to be with yourself and allow yourself some moments for reflection. Reflection on what we have done in the past year. What has brought us peace, joy, happiness, love, contentment. Reflection on how we offer those same things to others. Reflection on who are the people, what are the things that brought us peace and joy and happiness. So these are the reflections that we can do. We have a few more days before 2023 transition into 2024. So let us take the opportunity that we have to do some contemplation, and to do some reflection, and see and plan for the next year. What do we want manifested in our life? What do we want to do with our life? How do we want to spend our time? Perhaps you can start with something as simple as maybe you can smile a little more. Maybe we can learn to look at others with gentler eyes. Rest more. Take better care of ourselves. I think these are easy enough things to do. Maybe a more challenging thing or two to do is to, when interacting with others, see if we can practice loving speech and listening deeply, deep listening. It's also called compassionate listening. Take time to be in nature, for example. Take a walk. If you have a park nearby, take a walk in the park. Let nature heals us and nourishes us. And then let us express gratitude to the people in our life, those who have cared for us, loved us, and see us through difficult moments in our lives. And let us learn to forgive those who have wronged us in the past, because forgiveness brings peace. And let us grow our appreciation for the favorable conditions in our lives that provide us with well-being, with nourishment. And also, let us smile to those conditions deemed unfavorable, given us difficulties. We can learn to smile to them because we know that they help us to build character and to build strength. Let us also embrace and acknowledge our own shortcomings, our failures, because they are life lessons and they are fuel for future success. And let us teach ourselves and teach our children love, care, tolerance, kindness, and not greed, hatred, or violence. And we can do much more. Let us support organizations that work for peace and for justice. Let us join a sangha, a community of like-minded people, so that we can support the collective practice and in turn receive support. Let us be a light. Let us be a light unto the world and unto ourselves. Let us be the messenger of peace this season. May all the people of the world in this moment experience less suffering and more peace. May you and your loved ones be filled with happiness, with joy, with health. And may your practice bear fruits of faith, kindness, and forgiveness. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of you. Thank you for listening.
Dear Thầy, dear beloved community, thank you so much for your Dharma talk. And when we hear the sound of the small bell, we will stand up and bow our Dharma teacher, and then turn to the Buddha altar and bow the Buddha, and then please sit down again for some announcement. Thank you.